Okay, so let's tackle about the motion of a projectile. Projectile motion nga along ra gyud siya sa kaning naay straight path kanang walay ni ubos no, unlike sa ani nga sample nga mao niya ang original nga position, the origin, then iubos siya, then ay na ana. So this one is atong consideration is just ang kuan, ang projectile is straight ra gyud siya no, dili pwede ra to siya considered like this. So same gyapon if this is the particle and it moves that way, so we have an initial velocity v naught, and then of course we have the angle here theta. So the initial velocity has two components, the horizontal denoted by v naught x and then the vertical denoted by v naught y. Okay, so along its trajectory, so nagdagan siya, nabot siya certain point nga height which is denoted with positive y since it is since from origin nisaka siya. And then if you can observe, vox lang walay voy, it is because ang sama sa giyon ganyan ang velocity along x is just constant but along y is magkagamay na siya. So magkagamay ang velocity pasaka pag mo zero ng velocity y or the vertical component of the velocity, then mo change na niya ang direction. So instead nga pasaka mo na magsugo na siya panaog. Ito such time nga mo abot siya nga point. So from starting position to the final position, we call that the range, diba? Okay. So what I would like to show you here is, if you can see there is an equation here but dili na to ni magamit tanan. I will just give emphasis to this one for the x or the range, and this one which will be useful in your future problem solvings. Okay, so unsa may atong buhaton ani? So this one. Okay, let's start. So for this problem, ato ang x component, you have your x is equal to x naught plus v o xt. This one. From this initial position, the initial position of the particle is 0 along x. So we crush that out. So this becomes x is equal to voxt. Now I want this one to equate ni siya no nga ang mabili na lang is ang time. It is a function, we need to solve for the time. So that time is just equal to x over vox. Since itong na-discuss, diba, earlier that vox just equal to the initial velocity, then cosine theta, this one. So we can substitute that here para mas magamit nato. So we have time is just equal to x over the initial velocity times cosine theta. Let's say this is our equation 1. Now for our equation 2 sa y component, so we're going to use this one. Y is just equal to y naught plus v o yt minus 1/2 gt squared. Okay. So from the particle traveling from this position to this position, its final position y, kung you observe, is just 0. And then its initial position here is 0. Its initial time plus the initial velocity voy. So if vox is equal to initial velocity cosine y, so voy is just equal to vo sine theta. So we write that here. The initial velocity sine theta d minus 1/2 gt squared. If you can see na 0, so pwede na to ni sila ma-equate. So we transpose let's say this one para ma-positive. So we have the initial velocity sine theta t just equal to 1/2 gt squared. So na t ma-cancel ni siya, solve for t. So kani siya multiply the whole equation by 2 and then divide the whole equation by the gravity. We have our equation 2, that time is just equal to 2 twice the initial velocity sine theta over the gravity. So this is our equation 2. Since the time of the x to y is just the same, no? Okay. Same naman ni sila kuan from here to here, time traveled. Then we can equate the equation 1 and equation 2 since time is just equal to time here is just equal to time here. So we can have that the x over the initial velocity cosine theta equals this one, twice the initial velocity sine theta over the gravity. So I want to solve for x. We can have x is equal to, so I cross here, it becomes 2 VO initial VO sine theta times VO cosine theta over G. So ako siyang ipadayon diri here. X equals so naidua ka initial velocity, the VO squared times natay 2 then sine theta cosine theta over the gravity. So if you remember sa trigonometry, this is a function. Ano siya equivalent nga meaning, trigonometric nga double angle. So 2 sine theta cosine theta is just equal to sine 2 theta. So 2 sine theta cosine theta is just equal to sine 2 theta. So this equation here, x is equal to VO squared sine 2 theta over G. So you can use this equation para kung na given nga equation problem that say nga same ani, you can just use this equation x equal to VO squared sine 2 theta over G para diretso na ninyo input ang initial velocity times the angle, and then dili naman mag-solve for time. Then you can get for the x or for the range r. So mo ni siya.